Welcome to Gutter Trash, episode 192, The Ray. My name is Eric.
I am Jason.
How's it going?
Excellent.
Good to hear, good to hear.
How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastically.
You sound like it.
Yeah, I am forcing this.
Oh. Well, forced positive energy is positive energy nonetheless.
Exactly, and now my throat hurts.
Oh, that's why you don't do it.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
And also, my sinuses are killing me.
Yeah. It's allergy time. For
It
some
is.
reason. Not for me, though.
Well, fuck you then.
My girlfriend was complaining of similar afflictions yesterday.
That you're being a dick because you're running around allergy-free?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that what she's complaining about?
Yeah.
Because I am on her side.
I'll probably be murdered by the town. Bunch of all the snot-nosed people with hay fever that hate me.
It should be mostly everyone.
Yeah.
We do live in Hay Fever Village, or whatever the fuck this place is.
We're supposed to be like one of the top-rated allergen
Yeah.
cities. Yeah. At least
Dayton,
we got
Ohio,
some.
that's what it's got going for it.
Yeah. You gotta have something. Yeah. Oh.
So I apologize for the sound of my voice and the sniffles and other horrible things that might happen throughout this episode.
At least you're not seeing it, folks.
Huh?
I said, at least they're not seeing
It's
it.
true. That is true.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
let's do this.
The Ray.
The Ray.
By some guys.
Some dudes that go by the name of Justin Gray, Jimmy Palmiotti, and Jamal Eigel.
Yeah.
And there's another name on the cover there. Rich Parada.
Wonder what Rich does.
Colorist, inker? Well, let's find out.
I'm gonna guess Inker.
I'm gonna say that you're right.
Hey.
Colored by Guy Major. That can't be a real name.
Guy Major.
Letter Dave Sharp.
Ah.
There we go. Full credits.
Wow.
It's, everyone deserves a job
shot.
well done.
Right. Oh, wow. So is that a spoiler?
No.
Oh.
But, those guys work hard. They don't get the credit usually.
Right.
Maybe we should give them the credit, especially the colorist.
Oh, yeah.
As if any book deserves coloring credit, it's this one.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't think this book would have been as visually enticing without the right colors.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I agree. Because all the light
Exactly.
Like, right,
It's
yeah.
about a dude made out of light.
and a lot of light beams shooting places and whatnot.
That's it's an extra effort on the colorist.
Plus, there's scenes where he's supposed to be depicted as different nationalities.
Exactly.
And,
yeah.
there's some slight skin pallor tone changes.
Right.
Yeah, well, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow. You've really changed my mind in the last 5 seconds.
I think we all know how hard colorists have it.
Mm.
And they are poor bastards for having to do that job. Because they get none of the glory.
Right.
And they have to work, I'm going to say, 3 times as hard as anyone else who worked on this book.
Really, I think?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's more tedious and not as,
Exactly.
there's no, sweeping movements where you're just like, look at this line, I'm
Right.
shooting on the page.
Especially now with digital coloring, it's all, mouse clicks or, working with a tablet.
Right.
and it's just all, it's pretty much just shapes and tracing, really. Yeah, I'm serious, because in order, and I'm sure that Guy Major has a flatter, like our friend James Abels,
Right.
who basically goes in and just lays down the flat colors, and then he comes in and adds all the textures and the flares to the work.
Right.
But that flatting job, alone is
Tedious, I'd imagine.
incredibly tedious.
Unsung heroes, those guys.
Oh yeah, and yeah, you're just tracing the line art and laying in blocks of color,
Right.
and that's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it's one of those things like when you see the finished product, you're like, wow, I helped it get to there.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I
like,
mean,
you're like the guy that built the very bottom layer of the pyramid.
right, yeah.
You're like, I did something, part of that,
Yeah. Or maybe in that case, the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Because you gotta hike all the way to the top because they didn't have cranes or
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like
Well, we don't know that. There was alien technology. There was like some sort of floating anti-magnetism shackles that the Egyptians used or something.
that. Touche.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, good job, colorists. And I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
Because, they're probably not at conventions very much. I'm sure they are, but I'm sure they don't get the
tension and
right. Yeah.
No one's like, sign my... I don't know. I wonder, does anyone, James, ever come up to you and have you sign a Godzilla comic? If you're listening, let us know.
I don't even know if he's ever done a convention in that manner. It's just, him being a flatter, he doesn't get, the inside credit either, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot of unsung heroes out there in comics.
I'm never reading another fucking comic.
Let's go ahead and stop right now.
Okay.
Gather up my entire comic collection and then burn it out on my porch.
Oh, that sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah. Slightly
then,
dangerous.
Use the flames to grill some burgers.
Oh. Well, vegetarian burgers?
Nope.
Oh.
If we're burning comics, you're no longer going to be a vegetarian.
Really?
Yep.
I'm manning up in more ways than one?
Exactly.
Wow. I don't know if I can
It's
handle
time to be an adult, Jason.
That's true. I heard that spinach has souls. I just heard that on a Venture Brothers cartoon yesterday. It depressed me. Because if I can't get my facts from, them, who can I get them from?
Exactly.
Oh.
So here we go, sort of.
The Ray.
The Ray!
Now, before we start,
Yes.
was the Ray, like, an old, Charlton character or something, or?
I don't remember exactly, but he was a Golden Age character.
Okay.
I don't know if he was from DC. I know he wasn't from Charlton, but I don't know if he was Quality Comics or...
I seem to remember there being a Ray comic in that whole line of Impact Comics in the early 90s.
No.
There wasn't a Ray?
No.
Okay. Well, what was there? I know I've seen a...
The Fly is what you're thinking of?
Oh, there are 3
Black
letters.
Hood.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know I've seen a Ray comic.
From the 90s, yeah. Joe Quesada drew it.
Was that a DC one?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. First cover, purple background. His legs are just light.
Yeah.
Joe Quesada art. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. It all came back to me.
Yeah. That was the modern day incarnation of the Ray. The Golden Age version was, that character's father.
Oh.
Yeah. Who is referenced in this, comic as, somebody who got hit with a light bomb and a, hot air balloon and
Right.
light powers.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
And he had, an all gold costume with a weird, frilly...
Didn't he have a Nazi vest or something?
That's the current, or not the current,
Okay. The good Quesada one?
yeah.
Okay.
But the other one, the original, all gold costume had a weird, flared chest thing.
Oh, and didn't he walk around with a cigarette hanging off his bottom lip? When he saw Slimer? No, that was Ray from Ghostbusters.
Alright, I'm done.
The Ray! Well, I've never seen the Golden Age Ray. I think I've only ever seen the 90s and then the current one. I just remember it being something before. But yeah. Hey, are you still here? My Ghostbusters joke. Just too much? Okay. So what did you think of the book? Of this book, right. What did you think of it? What? What's wrong?
I said I was done.
Oh. Well, that doesn't make any sense. We've still got an hour and a half to fill.
Oh, I could fill it.
Just put some more music in there. And, okay.
I'll take a third of Brian John Mitchell's new music project, and that'll be the rest of the show.
What's his new music project?
It's called 4.5. It's a 4.5 hour long drone piece that he recorded.
Wow.
4.5 hours.
Did he did this all at once? Like,
I don't know about that, but still, 4.5 hours.
that's a bet.
That's a little much, Brian John Mitchell.
Maybe he's going for some sort of record.
Maybe, but he's listened to us. He knows that we like brevity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you, Brian John Mitchell. I can't support you with your 4.5 hour music project.
That's odd. That's odd.
It's a bit much.
I mean, I guess maybe if you're gonna, like, be doing some sort of, you know, like, if you're painting or something and you want some sort of, like, you know, some sort of auditory, like, zone you're going into, you could put it on for 4.5 hours and just, you know, zone out while you're painting or something, but
Right.
I couldn't imagine just listening to that otherwise.
No, I could not either. What's wrong with you, Brian John Mitchell?
I don't know.
There. So anyway, so the Ray was a Golden Age character.
Mm-hmm.
He had a full golden costume with like a weird flare thing on his chest, and he had the fin mask, you know.
Right.
And then his son was the Ray from the 90s, who had the weird jacket thing,
Right.
Michael Jackson Nazi jacket thing. Yeah,
Yeah, like almost like a flight jacket.
yeah, kind
Like a
of.
Rocketeer kind of thing.
A little bit, with rolled up sleeves,
Mhm.
fingerless gloves, I think. And he had the helmet with the fin on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's all I wanted to say until you started just being a piece of shit.
I just made a joke about the Ray. Alright. So this guy is not related at all.
No.
Lucien, or whatever his name is.
Lucien Gates.
Yeah.
Brand new character, New 52.
Mhm.
Let's start over from scratch.
Is it New 52? It's not.
New
is it?
52.
I thought this was before New 52.
Nope. Part of
Okay.
the second wave of the New 52.
Ah. Yeah, I think I read a preview of this in All-Star Western, which was also by Graham Palmiotti.
Yep.
And I liked the preview. Kind of made me want to check it out, but I just never got around to it until you picked it.
I don't know why I picked this, or why I picked it up in the first place. 'Cause I like Graham Palmiotti for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
and I like Jamal Eichel somewhat, but I'm also not a guy who will rush out and buy every single thing that any of them do.
Right. Yeah.
Pick and choose what I want to get from them. So I have zero idea why I started buying this book.
Maybe there was nothing else good that week.
I doubt that. Not to say anything about this book, but like, you know, I'm always getting so much stuff
Right.
that, you know, it has been a very long time since I have gone to a comic shop on a Wednesday and there have been nothing
Right.
to have come out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But, so this guy gets his powers in the first issue.
Yeah.
Like, we see his origin, basically,
Right.
unfold.
As all good superhero comics should do.
Yeah.
You get it what it is in that first issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like the first half of the first issue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because none of this spread over 6-issue bullshit to, you know, get to us to the point where he actually does something heroic for once.
Right.
You know, we pretty much get it from the get-go.
Well, they only had 4 issues to work with. They knew that from
Well,
the
still,
beginning, too.
yeah. Still, some people would have stretched the first 5 pages of this into those 4 issues.
Right. Yeah.
And that would be horrible.
Yeah. But this was not horrible.
This was pretty okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't amazing,
Nah.
but it was,
I've read better by those two guys.
Yeah, I really like the All-Star Western. I think that's probably my favorite of the New 52.
I only read the first issue of that. Was not enough to make me want to continue to read it, but it wasn't bad. I just I don't know, didn't love it, and I kind of liked Jonah Hex, the pre-52 series
Yeah.
before
Before he was in Gotham and all that.
right, yeah, and they were individual issues, so, like you could just pick up a random issue.
Yeah.
Had a rotating artist, thing going on.
I did like the individual issue thing better.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good series, though.
I'm sure it's fun, and from what I hear, it's tying into the Scott Snyder storyline in Batman a little bit.
Yeah.
I just liked, the structure of Jonah Hex before it became All-Star Western.
Jonah Hex, yeah. So, what do you think of the villain in this, the Ray?
I don't know.
The movie filmmaker, who was trapped in a film.
Uh-huh.
Did you not like that?
Yeah, it was fine.
It kind of reminded me of like a lame Grant Morrison idea.
Actually, it was. I kind of liked it quite a bit. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore here. I'm done. This is a fine comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. You just don't want to talk about the Ray?
I don't think so.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I thought it was decent.
Yeah, it's good.
Not great, but,
It's fun.
It's just like a superhero story that is entertaining, but it's not, like, memorable. Like, I doubt if I would ever reread it.
Right.
Like, it was just like... I mean, I liked the idea of, like, the filmmaker who was trapped in a film and, like, he could somehow control reality, but it was just kind of like... I don't know, it seemed like kind of a one-off Animal Man story from the 80s that Grant Morrison wrote. It was just kind of like...
Right.
It was kind of neat, but, like, it just didn't really go anywhere, really. Like, the character wasn't... I don't know. There was nothing really to him.
Right. I think, maybe there's that sort of, I don't want to say fear, because there's the hope, I guess, that I'm sure the people involved in this book wanted to maybe do more,
Right.
or at least, set up a firm establishment for the character to continue afterwards.
Yeah. To be part of a team or something.
Right, yeah. And they sort of lead that up a little bit at the end. They sort of hints at a previous book that Palmiotti and Gray worked on back in the old 52.
Oh, yeah.
The Freedom Fighters? Is that a book?
Yeah, with Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam, yeah. Uh-huh. And with Father Time, I believe, showing up at the end. Was that?
That might be right. Was it Father Time?
I believe that's the. I don't know. He's basically Nick Fury without an eye patch.
Oh, okay. That guy.
Yeah.
He's trying to recruit him for some sort of team.
Right. And I think that was the Freedom Fighters.
I never read Uncle Sam stuff.
Right. I only read the 2 series that Palmiotti and Gray wrote, and they were really good. And there was a Ray in both of those series. The Ray from the 90s was in the second series, and then there was a different Ray beforehand who wound up turning out to be a bad guy. So they have experience with the Ray.
Right. Yeah, they seem to write him well. I mean, he's like, I don't know, he was an interesting superhero.
Right. He seems, kind of hippie-ish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, his parents are hippies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of like a weird, enlightenment type of superhero.
Yeah.
Because he basically defeats the villain by talking to him.
Right.
There is action and there is fighting, but he does, he uses his words instead.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's got a little bit of that, like a little bit of like an odd perspective on superheroes and like a little bit of humor, but But I mean, it's not like mind-blowing,
No, not
crazy
at all,
perspective, and it's not like hilarious comedy. It's just like, just kind of peppered with some different takes.
Right. It's like a slightly above average Spider-Man comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can say that. I agree with that.
Now that I'm feeling more like talking about this book, I will talk about the villain a little bit.
Yeah.
I actually liked the villain quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not so much when he turned himself into Magneto at the end, but it really actually, I guess, yeah, he kind of wasn't. I don't know, amazing. But I liked the core concept of it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because he is basically Ruggero Deodato, the director of Cannibal Holocaust.
Okay, yeah. That's what it reminded me of, because he, like, just filmed some, tribal, like, ritualistic murders or something.
Right.
Yeah. And then he films, like, some sort of, it was like a tsunami or earthquake or something, some sort of victims.
Right.
I don't know, but he was making all the carnage, like, the backdrop for his movie, like,
Right.
all these dead extras, basically.
Yeah.
That seems cool.
Yeah, but yeah, he cuts his throat, or has his throat cut and filmed while it's happening, and has the film thrown in a Lazarus pit, which is pretty neat, I think.
Yeah.
Because yeah, let's do some more with the Lazarus pit other than
Bring back
Ra's al
Cool.
Ghul. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about where, like, conceptually it's like, oh, that's a really neat idea, but I don't know, once he actually, like, came back to life,
Right,
he just kind of petered out.
Right. At that point, I was also really distracted by the fact that Stephen Tobolowsky was in the book.
Oh?
Yeah.
Was that his, like...
It was the film professor at the first issue.
Okay. Was that supposed to be him?
I think so. Yeah. Damn it.
If there's only 4 of them, we should be able to find stuff in this.
You'd think.
Oh, yeah, okay, he's teaching the class.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's Ned the Bull.
Yeah.
Ned Ryerson.
Needle Nose Ned?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can tell you, too, like, I don't know if they did this as a miniseries to see how sales were, whether they would warrant enough for an ongoing or something,
Right.
but I can tell you, I think we sold, like, 2 copies of issue 1 and, like, 1 copy of number 2. And I think we only ordered, like, 1 copy of 3 and 4 because we were like, nobody's buying this thing.
Right. Well, maybe you shouldn't have ordered so few.
Like, 1 copy, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's always sold of the first 2.
Well. How many did you order of the first one?
Probably like 5 or 6,
Right.
something like that. Which, I mean, it's not a lot, but it was more than we needed, apparently. So, that's too bad.
Yeah. It's also Mavericks, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Although, I don't know. Yeah, this wasn't a blockbuster book. I don't think it was ever going to fly off the shelves.
Right.
Because you're dealing with creators who, I mean, they're prolific and they do a lot.
And they're solid.
They're solid, but they're not, I don't think they're A-listers. I don't think they're people that anybody are knocking down, to pick up their next work.
Right.
So, especially, I think, they seem to have a lot more enthusiasm for books that aren't superhero related.
Yeah, like All-Star Western.
Right, yeah. And, like, they do a lot of creator-owned stuff lately, and I'm sure they definitely want to focus more on that. And
Oh, yeah? Do they? I don't even know.
yeah. So, yeah, I don't think they totally... I'm sure they're fine with superheroes. They certainly work in the genre quite a bit, but I'm sure
Their heart isn't in it, maybe.
Right, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's not like what they are thinking about when they just want to make comics.
Right. So yeah, I'm sure they did the best that they could with this, and maybe it was something that they thought they wanted to do. They thought they maybe had a different take on it or something like that, because there is a little bit of a different take on this. But
yeah, I mean, there's cool robots with high heels,
monsters, and
what's the deal with? There was like this weird robot that kidnaps the Ray's girlfriend, and it has high heels at one point. The robot does, but I've never really explained why it had high heels.
Probably just because.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was it was like this female entity that was absorbing the female consciousness of his girlfriend, or I didn't know. There's something
I didn't even notice. So
the high heels, I mean. Yeah. It was alright.
Yeah, it
was fun.
Yeah, it's perfectly adequate. Yeah. Nothing that I would, nothing that I would ever rush out to recommend to anyone, but if anybody ever brings it up, I'd be like, oh yeah, that was fun.
Right.
Yeah.
If they did a sequel, maybe.
Right.
Not really.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'd wait for a trade.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe I'd get it digitally after the price drops.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't think it's anything that I would rush out to buy a sequel for. But,
Right.
But if they did like another Freedom Fighters, based on the strength of the previous series and this one, if
they incorporated the Ray in there.
Right. Yeah, like maybe I would check that out too.
Right. Yeah, I might as well. I'm not nothing thrilling about it, just entertaining, solid, and not disappointing, but not mind blowing.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
That was something. We said something about the book.
Yeah.
It is one of those books that's kind of hard to talk about because it's like, you don't want to insult it, but you want to falsely praise it. It's just, it's dead center.
Pretty much. Yeah. There. We'll be back.
You cold when you were headed for the skies, but you were young and bold, and baby, didn't that change with a wink of your eye? Now no one's talking about those crazy days gone by. No one talks about the times you cried. A little dreamer, likely to succeed. I had to tell them, baby, you were armed with all you need. Seems no one's talking about those crazy days gone past. Weren't they amazed when you were pitiless? You are the little dreamer. About you cold when you were headed for the skies, but you were young and bold, and maybe didn't that change with a wink of your eye? Seems no one's talking about the crazy days gone past. Weren't they amazed when you were pitiless? You are the little dreamer.
Welcome back to our podcast show.
Yay.
So we had a good break.
Yeah, we did. I'm not gonna lie. That first segment was horrible.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. I was just being a dick for no reason. And, we needed a breather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm agreeing with the breather part.
Right.
I wasn't calling you a dick.
Oh, but I was.
Okay. But, what an awesome little video we watched. It was like a self-help video.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. How'd you stumble upon that?
I follow Michael Graves on the Twitters and the Facebooks. And like one day he posted, "Hey, here's my video for my cover of No Rain."
You're like, what?
Exactly. And I know that he's done quite a bit of acoustic stuff in the last couple years. Ever since I think Illusions, which was his benefit album for the West Memphis 3 that he did with one of the West Memphis 3 guys.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think he's done a lot of just acoustic shows here and there, and acoustic albums and singles and stuff like that.
Is he branching out or slowing down either?
Branching out, I think,
Yeah.
because I think I read that he does have a new album coming out, and it's just horror punk kind
Right.
of stuff.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, I just think he's trying something different.
Hey, he's
here and
not done. He's just
there. Right.
trying. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So he made a video for his cover of No Rain, the Blind Melon song.
Yeah, the one with the Bumblebee girl.
Yeah. Michael Graves, the former lead singer of the Misfits during its metal years.
Yeah. What some would call their better years.
Yeah. I love him and the Danzig years equally.
I don't mind the Danzig years, but I love the Michael Graves years.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a weird video.
Yeah, it was.
But it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually have always liked that song.
Oh, it's a good song.
Yeah.
I don't think that is debatable at all.
Yeah. Well, any art being good or bad is debatable.
Except for when it comes to the song No Rain.
that and the Sistine Chapel are amazing.
Yep.
Everything else, debatable.
Yep.
Do you remember, so you don't remember the video, the
I
original?
never saw the video.
Um,
I've only ever heard this song on the radio.
like even if you don't think you've seen the video, maybe this will Jerry remember. Do you remember like a little chubby girl dancing dressed up like a bumblebee?
I know a little chubby girl dressed up like a bumblebee because that was the cover of their album.
Okay. Well, she was also in that video.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Blind Melon was not a band I was ever into. I don't think I ever bought their album. I think that may be the only song of theirs I ever heard.
Probably me too. Yeah.
But that's a great song, and I don't think that can be denied.
Right.
And Michael Graves does a fine job covering it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And like he changes it just enough that, makes it his own.
Right.
But, still, very obviously recognizable as the same song.
Exactly. And the video is just bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not like David Lynch bizarre, but like,
Just odd.
yeah. Quirky, even?
At points, yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it has a warmth to it, though, which is weird.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it has a very, creepy yet warm kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
It's hard to accomplish.
He's the ghoul with a heart of gold.
Aww. I thought that was Matt Brassfield.
No, he's just an idiot with a werewolf mask.
Oh, yeah! That's him. That's why I love him.
Oh, that was unnecessarily mean.
Oh, you mean idiot
I
in
would
the
tell
most...
that to him to his face.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. You mean idiot in the most playful sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. He's our idiot, and we love him.
Exactly. 100%.
Just like we're his idiots.
Exactly.
And he loves us.
And he
tolerates.
uses and abuses us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think our lives would be the same without a Matt Brassfield.
No.
And I mostly mean that positively.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I don't have to work Wednesday mornings.
I get the occasional discount on a DVD.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Change their lives. So speaking of,
DVDs?
yeah,
What have you been doing lately?
nothing really. Nothing. I went book shopping with my lady friend today.
Ooh, did you buy anything?
I bought 2 Stephen King books. How
Really?
weird? How weird is that?
Unexpected.
Me as well.
Yeah.
I like when we sat out to the bookstore. If you would have said, "Who's the last author you're going to buy something by?" I would have gone, probably Stephen King. Yeah.
What'd you end up buying?
Well, I forget the name of it. Whatever the book is that Silver Bullet is based on. think Curse-
Cycle of the Werewolf?
Yes, I started to say
With,
Curse of the
Bernie
Wolf.
Wrightson.
That's why I bought it.
Oh, yeah. I've got it.
I've never seen that.
Yeah?
And I was like flipping through it, like, cause we were talking about Stephen King on the way there, and I was like, yeah, I've only ever read, Night Shift, his book of short stories, and I was like, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh yeah, he's great, cause she had just recently read this book he did called On Writing. It's just like about writing, and she was like, yeah, she's like, I think you'd really like a lot of his other stuff, and we were just like flipping through the Stephen King section. We just happened upon it, and I saw that werewolf book, and I was like, ooh, I've always loved werewolves since I was a kid.
Right.
And I picked it up and it was like, Bernie Wrightson?
Yep.
And it was like full color, awesome pieces, and I was like,
yeah.
this is going with me. And
I
then,
own it. I got
Yeah.
a copy. Yeah.
and then we left there and we ended up at, used a bookstore, cause I bought that at Books and Company new. And I was like,
oh, where's there a Books and Company?
it's at the Green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's how often I go to the
Yeah, I know. I hardly ever go to that bookstore. Cause I don't know, I don't really like going to new bookstores that often, cause books are like 25, like there's a new, Chuck Palahniuk book I was looking at there.
Right.
Or it was new to me called Damned, and it sounded good. It was $25. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's crazy to me. Yeah. So we went to Second and Charles, and then I bought a book of,
Second and Charles, where Books and Company used to be.
yeah.
Which is, when you say Books and Company,
That's what you think
just
of.
what I think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I know, yeah,
that's,
like all of our lives that was Books Company.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
But yeah, that's now a secondhand store.
But, and it's pretty cool too. I found Skeleton Crew, his book of short stories that I've never read, and it was like $2 and something, so yeah, I bought those 2 books, and those are the only things I bought today. It was kind of surprising for me. But I'm excited to read both of them.
Yeah. You know that Bernie Wrightson also illustrated The Stand.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not
There's
know that.
it may just be the uncut version, which is like 1,000, maybe 1,200 pages long,
Wow.
and it's got spot illustrations, black and white. Like Frankenstein level Bernie Wrightson illustrations.
Really?
Yeah.
Like tons of them?
Enough.
Like 20, 30 of them at least?
Probably. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's enticing still. I don't think I'll ever read a book that's 1,000 pages long, but if
I will say that I read it. Took me years.
Yeah. Everybody says it's amazing. I'm sure it is.
It's
but
good.
I just don't really like long books
Right.
like that. I like short stories and like maybe 200-300 page novels at the most.
Really?
You know?
Well, you're a man on the go.
I got stuff to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dogs to walk and whatnots.
Magic to sell.
Magic to sell. But yeah, no, I'm excited. Read my
That's cool.
Stephen King book.
Yeah, Cycle of the Werewolf is fairly short.
Yeah, looks like
'cause,
it.
it was initially envisioned as a calendar.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the Bernie Wrightson artwork?
Yep. It was Bernie Wrightson artwork with just basically like a short paragraph, basically telling the story for each month.
Yeah.
And it never worked out as a calendar, so Stephen King expanded the prose and
Wow.
turned it into a novella.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, based around the Bernie Wrightson art.
That's awesome.
And I guess they did Creepshow together. Yeah.
Bernie Wrightson.
And Stephen King.
What did Bernie Wrightson do on the Creepshow?
Drew a comic called Creepshow.
Oh, I think you meant
that
the
Stephen
movie.
King wrote.
I think the movie
And then they
Creepshow.
turned that into a movie.
I didn't know there was a comic.
I believe so.
Wow.
Could be mistaken, but I believe so. I've never seen a copy anywhere.
Yeah, me neither. And I actually work at a magic store that carries some comics.
Right. Oh, some.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
What else? Nothing else?
I went and saw The Dark Knight.
Yeah. No spoilers.
No spoilers. I enjoyed it, but the thing I enjoyed most about it.
Was that it was over.
No!
Okay.
This is fucking crazy. I went Tuesday morning,
Okay.
and it was $5, first of all, which, that's
Right.
awesome, right?
Yeah.
I went at 9:30 in the morning. I was the only person in the theater for the entirety of that movie.
Yeah, because it's 9:30 in the morning on a Tuesday. That is the way to see a movie.
I've been at like 10 o'clock before, and there's always like a guy here, a couple there.
Right.
I've never in my life, out of 35 years, seen a movie where I was the only person in the theater until last week.
It's an amazing thing to happen.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I almost couldn't enjoy the movie because I was so excited about watching the movie by myself.
Right.
At 2 or 3 times in the middle of the movie, I was like, I'm the only one in the theater! And like, that went on for like 30 seconds, and then like, I missed dialogue and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen more than a few movies by myself.
Wow.
It's enjoyable.
It's amazing. I would pay $20 a ticket if I knew
That you
I
could
was
be there
the-
by yourself.
Yeah.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
I almost like even though I have a 1% interest in seeing this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Almost thought about going today to see it at 9 o'clock because there was a showing. And I figured 9 o'clock on a Sunday, it's at least going to be not crowded.
Oh, yeah.
But I decided I'd rather sleep.
Yeah. Probably for the best.
Oh yeah. I feel rested mostly.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, good movie.
That's good.
Fine film.
Someone like me who hated The Dark Knight. Is this redeemable? Does it?
It's different enough. Like, it has kind of a different, I mean, all 3 movies kind of tie in, of course.
Right.
And, they have a tone, but I don't know. It does feel a little different as far as like the pacing and things of it. And, I think
Because I still stand by Batman Begins. It was even on TV last week, and I watched it, and I still thought it was an excellent movie, and just still did not like The Dark Knight. So is this like in between, or am I going to walk away from it still upset?
I think. It's kind of hard. Like, it's not like an easy choice, but I think it's my least favorite of the 3.
Okay.
But that's like saying my least favorite, like, I don't know, Nirvana album or something.
Right,
like something that I
right.
like, all of them. Yeah, I think you'd like it. I mean, it's not as like,
But you also would have thought that I would have liked The Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, I would have thought you would like The Dark Knight too, so. But, yeah, I think you'll like this one better.
Yeah.
It's Kathleen's favorite of the 3,
Yeah.
so.
But she also probably loved.
She loved The Dark Knight, yeah.
Yeah, I need to find someone who shares my point of view on The Dark Knight and see what they think of Dark Knight Rises, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Or I'll just make up my own mind at some point. I may go next weekend, I don't know.
There you go. Take a day off and go during the week.
That would be awesome. But I already took a day off this week, so
Right.
I can't take off too many days.
And you can't exactly see that movie and then go in late because by the time it's over, it's already 5 o'clock.
Exactly. I guess I could go and then come in after lunch.
Yeah. Pretty much exactly.
If there's a 9 a.m. showing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Right.
It's pretty long.
Yeah, maybe we'll see next Sunday.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. How about yourself?
Well, I did something.
You did something.
The long-time listener knows that my general rule in life is I never leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't do much. And then I especially don't do a lot without you at my side.
I'm your Robin.
Yeah, you are. But I had a little adventure on Friday.
Yeah. Do tell.
So I took Friday off of work. I stayed up all night Thursday so that I could prepare myself to have a very late night on Friday.
Right.
And it turned into a very, very late night on Friday.
Really?
Yeah. So around 3 p.m. on Friday, I got into my car and ran a couple of short errands and then headed out of state to the wonderful land of Indianapolis.
Yeah. 'Cause,
Yeah. And, you know, I had a little adventure on Friday. So I took Friday off of work. I stayed up all night Thursday so that I could prepare myself to have a very late night on Friday. And it turned into a very, very late night on Friday. So around 3 p.m. on Friday, I got into my car and ran a couple of short errands and then headed out of state to the wonderful land of Indianapolis. Yeah. And So, yeah, I mean, it's not it's a long drive by any means. It's 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And, I was there because at 8 o'clock that night, I was going to see a one-man show called The 40-Year-Old Boy, Success is Not an Option. It is a show by a comedian by the name of Mike Schmidt, who also has a podcast called The 40-Year-Old Boy,
Right.
of which I am a massive fan of. So, and he's been touring with this one-man show of his for about 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
A little over a year, maybe.
Right.
Actually, maybe it is 2 years now.
Wow. I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah. But, he just goes basically, a city at a time, in not regular intervals, but, he's not consistently touring with it.
Okay. I see what you mean.
It's basically sort of like basically what he does or what he has other people do is set up like a Facebook page and say, hey, if you want me to come to your town, if I get like at least 30 people to like this page, then I'll try to find somewhere to do a show in your city. And Indianapolis was one of the first ones that he did, and I'm like, fuck, I love this guy. Indianapolis is 2 hours away. There's no way in hell he'd ever come to Dayton.
Right.
I would highly doubt Cincinnati or Columbus even.
Where's he from?
He lives in LA.
Okay. Wow. So yeah, that is quite a...
Yeah. So, someone early on set up an Indianapolis page, and I'm like, I can do Indianapolis. So I liked the page and just patiently waited, and that was 2 years ago. And he has since done the show in like Texas and Portland, San Francisco, I think was the first place he ever did it in. He did Philadelphia. Then he, like a lot of people wanted him to come to do like the East Coast. So he actually did a Kickstarter thing where he funded his tour, like an East Coast tour, basically. Oh, yeah. So it was like New York, Boston, Washington D.C., and Atlanta. That like he got Kickstarter funding for, and he did shows in all those places. He's done Chicago, and I think a couple months ago, maybe back in April, he did Cleveland, which I was like, Cleveland it's a 4-hour drive compared to Indianapolis, which would be 2 hours.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be closer, but
it's
not.
It's in the same state. So I still held out for Indianapolis, which could not get booked. Like he just, for 2 years, he just could not find a place in Indianapolis that would have him do the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he finally got one set up, and he set the date for July 27th, and I was like, I'm fucking there. So that's what I went to go see on Friday. And I got to Indianapolis like at 5:30ish, which was super early. So I just sort of drove around, and I figured out where the venue was. It's this little black box theater called the Indie Fringe Theater.
Huh.
And it's downtown-ish. And it's the building. It's an old church.
Okay.
So it's very small. So I found the place, and then I was like, well, I still got like 2.5 hours to kill. So I started driving around, and I found a comic shop.
Hey.
And I was like, I like comics. I'll go buy a comic and kill some time. So I pull up to this place and I park on the street, because it is like right in the middle of downtown. And I get out of my car and I go to the door, and the fucking place is closed. It is 6 p.m. on a Friday.
Huh. Yeah. Maybe they're getting ready for the Mike Schmidt show.
Probably not. So I tweeted this at the time, but I'm going to say it again. If you're a comic shop and you close at 6 p.m., fuck you. Just fuck you in the ass. Why? Why would you close at 6?
Pretty early.
People work. I mean, even comic nerds.
Yeah, occasionally, yeah.
Yeah. It's only magic nerds who are all unemployed and spend all day at the shops.
It's true. I can vouch for his theory here.
So then I just started walking around downtown because I had nothing better to do. And there wasn't really much going on down there. I didn't want to stray too far from my car.
Right.
And I also still knew that I had hours and hours to go, so I also didn't want to wear myself out. So all I really saw were restaurants, bars, and bail bonds offices. So I went into a bar, and I had a beer.
Nice.
The first drink of alcohol I've had in like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. What'd you have?
Just Bud Light.
Yeah.
It was on tap. It was
Right.
cheap. So I had that killed 15 minutes. So then I went back to where the theater was, and I parked, and I kind of sat in my car for a little while, and then I decided I'll just go stand in line, which I was the line. Eventually a line formed, and the thing is that Mike had thought that at the time, like before I even left town, his previous podcast, there were not a lot of people buying tickets for his show.
Oh, yeah.
He said it was one of the lowest selling shows that he has done.
That sucks.
Yeah, and even to the point where I was almost wondering if he was going to cancel altogether. He did not, but even before he left LA, he still said it was not doing great.
Right.
It didn't sell out, but there were about 40 people there, I would say, guesstimating.
Right.
But yeah, went in, saw the show, doors open at 8, and I drank beer throughout the show.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, I'm out of town, so, let's spice this up.
It's like a little vacation.
Yeah. So I had like 5 beers, and a couple of them with water here and there. But show started at about 8:15, and show ended at about 11:30. Just him.
Wow.
Just him talking.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
He didn't, there was no intermission, he was there the whole time?
No intermission, there
Wow.
the whole time. On stage.
It's like the Rolling Stones.
Kind of, yeah. And I've seen Henry Rollins twice, do his speaking shows, and he talks for 3 hours. And then the one time I saw Metallica in concert, they didn't have an opening act and no intermission, but they performed for about 3 hours.
Wow.
So, I'm used to long shows.
Yeah.
I will say when I saw Henry Rollins, at least the second time, because I saw him both times at Bogart's, and I don't know if it's just the seats that they have there, but I was almost paralyzed by the end of Henry Rollins' show.
Just super uncomfortable.
Just uncomfortable. My ass hurt, my legs hurt. I could barely move. I couldn't walk. It was painful to even get back into the car and drive back to Dayton.
Oh, man.
I did not feel that at the Mike Schmidt show. But it's a one-man show, and I wasn't entirely sure what to expect because I listened to his podcast, and it is anywhere between an hour and a half to sometimes 4 hours
Yeah.
of him just talking.
Rambling about whatever.
Right.
Right.
And, be it his life or telling stories or just what happened to him that week. For the past month and a half, every episode has been about how he can't get t-shirts made. But I think he's hilarious. And I know you've listened to the show, and you are iffy.
I'm kind of on the fence. I guess maybe it's the mood I'm in. But
Right.
yeah, sometimes I don't find him funny, and sometimes I do.
Right. I think he's always funny, and I think even stories that he tells that maybe are not necessarily funny, I think he manages to make them funny. But I think if you would have went with me to the live show, I think you may have turned around on him and just, if not to find him funny, at least find that he is worth listening to.
Right.
Because the one-man show isn't entirely funny. And in fact, it gets kind of emotional throughout it. Because what it basically is, and I was worried that, like, it was just going to be stories that he's already told on the podcast.
Right.
And there were a couple of stories that, it was like, I remember him talking about that.
Right.
But they were different enough, and then there were additions to them, and also stories that he's never told on the podcast before, too.
That's cool.
And plus, when he gets up on stage, he spends, like, the first hour just talking about his trip to that place.
Right.
So, I mean, it's basically an hour of improvised stand-up comedy, like, right at the top of the show, before he gets into the bulk of the actual show. There's just basically about his life and how he got to be where he is, which is basically being a fuck-up and a failure. And, and his family life and how apparently terrible it can be. But, also done with humor and enough, like, of an emotional impact that, you walk away from it with something.
Right.
Huh. And so the show ended, and he does a meet and greet with the audience at the end. And, I mean, like I said, there's only 40 people there, so he gives everybody who wants to stick around, time.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
And so, like, I stood up, and I just stood at, like, one of the back walls while a line formed, because I'd been sitting for 3.5 hours. So just stretched out a little bit, and then, like, every single person that comes up, he will give as much time to that person as, as they want. Buying t-shirts, taking pictures, autographs, just talking.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I waited until I was the very last person. And, so I was the very last person. I went up and talked to him. And, shook his hand, and, I was like, "Hey, I'm Eric." And he looked at me and was like, "Seanborn?"
That's weird, right?
And, I was like, "Yeah." Mostly shocked by the fact that he pronounced it right. 'Cause nobody pronounces my name right first shot. Yeah.
For some weird reason, because it's not like there's extra silent letters or anything.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm. So he knew my name. Huh. I mean, I've like emailed him on a rare occasion, or like Twitter messaged with him back and forth, or Facebook message, but not enough that.
But he knew you were coming to the show, apparently.
I guess so. Yeah.
Wow.
So he was talking to me. So he was like, "You from around here?" And I was like, "No, I'm from Dayton." And he was like, "Holy shit." He was like, "Well, that's awesome. I'm never going back to Dayton as long as I live."
Yeah, he's been here then.
He has been here.
That's proof.
Yeah. Back when he was doing stand-up comedy, he performed at Joker's and was banned from Joker's.
Really?
And apparently the owner was just a giant cunt to him. And he said he's been to Wiley's too, and he liked Wiley's, but as far as he's concerned, Dayton is just, cursed earth.
Off the map. Why was he banned, do you say?
He told the story once on his show, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
It was something during his bit, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, something during his at least his time that he was supposed to be there, yeah. Oh. And I think he was there with Jimmy Pardo, too.
Wow.
But I was like, well, I've been to Wiley's, and I think Joker's is gone. It blew away in a tornado. And he was like, good. I hope that fucking bitch that went up with it. So something about Joker's happened.
Yeah, apparently it stuck in his mind.
Yeah.
Well.
So, we just talked for a little bit, and I just told him that, I thought the show was a lot more emotional than I expected, like, it kind of hit me a little bit hard at times. Mm-hmm. And, just kind of talked, and I told him that, I listen to this show all the time, and that I sort of feel a kinship with him a little bit, because we're both fat dudes struggling with our weight, and we've both, kind of failed at our chosen professions, and squandered a lot of opportunities that could have helped us out. And, both have some rage issues.
So yeah, there's some parallels.
Yeah. So then I bought a T-shirt, which I'm not gonna wear. I'm gonna have it framed.
Oh, that's cool.
He autographed it for me, and he was like, "So you heading back tonight? Are you staying in town?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, my brothers live here, but I don't think they want me showing up at their house at 1 a.m." And he's like, "Well, I mean, if you want to hang out afterwards, we're all gonna go get something to eat." I was like, "I would totally love to hang out."
That's awesome.
So it was about 9 of us or so, all headed out to this bar in downtown Indianapolis to hang out with Mike Schmidt.
Like everybody else was audience members, or
there were 3 other audience members. I guess 4 technically. Because he stayed with a person in Indianapolis, like a friend of his. So she was there. So it was her and this other comedian who just happened to just be hanging out. His name was Matt Holt. The girl's name was Heidi Miller. And then there was this other girl, I think, who was just a friend of theirs, named Raquel. And then the other audience members was a guy named Mike, who I guess before the show had bought 5 tickets and just said if anybody wants them, they'll just be available at the door. Like he just wanted to support the show that much.
Oh, wow.
And then I guess he brought one of his friends who had never seen or ever heard of Mike Schmidt. His name was Josh. And then there was a dude who drove from somewhere in Illinois.
Wow. By himself?
By himself.
Wow.
To come see the show. His name was Matt. So 2 Matts, 2 Mikes, Josh, and me. Heidi and Raquel. All going out to dinner. So I'm following Heidi to this place because I don't know where the fuck I'm going. And nobody has given me an address, which I specifically asked for. I was like, yeah, if anyone wants to give me an address to this place, I can find the place on my own. And Matt, the comedian Matt, he was like, well, Heidi's got that red Prius, you can just follow her. And Mike Schmidt said, yeah, fuck that, you're not getting an address. So I had to keep up with her through downtown Indianapolis to find this place. It's called the Brass Ring. And I love Pat Kane.
Yeah.
Pat Kane is in my top 5, top 10 favorite people that I've ever met.
No.
He's super awesome. But if you look at a Pat Kane, if you meet a Pat Kane and you don't know anything about the awesome part of him, you just look at him and you just kind of see hipster. This place was full of Pat Kanes without any of the awesome.
Oh, that's too bad.
None of the awesome.
Yeah.
Just dudes in tight, skinny pants. Ladies that are all tattooed up and buffoned out.
Ooh,
and just drunk and smoking and begging for everybody's attention.
Oh, yeah.
It was the world's hipsterish, douchiest place I've ever seen.
Wow. The Brass Ring.
Yeah. And then us. A comedian and his fat posse.
Wow. Was that like a culture clash there?
It really would have been if we had interacted at all with anybody.
Nobody seemed to.
Notice. I'm sure people wondered who the fuck are these guys. These people who are 30 years older than any of us. But it turns out, the Josh guy lived at one point across the street from this place, so he knew exactly where it was. And there's a really weird building right across the street that has this blue light on the top of it that just sort of goes back and forth like the light in a Cylon eye.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was bizarre. But yeah, we just hung out there until 3:30 in the morning.
Wow.
We ate some stuff because I was starving because I didn't eat. The last time I had ate was just before I left Dayton.
Wow. That is quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was just bar food, so, wasn't great.
Right.
But, I wasn't drinking or anything like that either. I was just drinking water since I knew that at some point I was going to have to come back up.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we just hung out and talked for a long time, and I mean, I didn't say much because, me, more than two people in a crowd, and I just go silent.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, it was just awesome to hang out with this guy that I respect and admire, and
Probably kind of feel like you know because you've
exactly
heard him
yeah.
talk so much, right?
Yeah, I hear him in my head, at least 2 hours a week, for the past 4 years.
Right.
So I totally feel like I know that guy, even though I know I don't, and he absolutely has zero idea who the fuck I am.
I don't know. He knew your name.
Well, he did know my name, that is true. And he knows I was wearing a Superman shirt, so I'm sure that probably says something about a person. Yeah. And Heidi made a dessert that she brought to this place.
Really?
Yeah, it was like this weird, creamy, frozen casserole type thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like cake-ish, ice creamish? Sort of?
It had like a graham cracker crust with like this creamy thing on top.
Huh.
Yeah. Like almost peanut buttery, but not quite.
Wow. Good for Heidi. That sounds
No,
good.
it was pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah, Mike was I don't know what she does, but I think she's definitely involved in the comedy, industry.
Okay.
I think she travels a lot to deal with comedians or something. I don't
She
know.
makes desserts for comedians across the globe.
Apparently, yeah. And Mike told a story about her on stage. Like they were just driving around like the previous day, and they had sushi, and they were just driving around finding something to do. Went to a couple of bars, and then it got to be 2 a.m, and Mike was like, "I want White Castle," and they went to a White Castle, but it was closed. So they just went back home, and Mike, went to bed, and he said 20 minutes later there's a knock on the door, and he opens it, and it's Heidi with a plate full of frozen White Castles that she had prepared.
Aw.
And
Like grocery store White Castle?
Yeah. And he said, "No, I'm not going to eat those." He closed the door.
Huh.
Yeah.
What a nice guy.
Yeah. Heidi said she completely expected that.
Yeah. It's just kind of his personality.
Yeah. And I mean, that is the personality that he brings. He knows he's a dick, but, he's also trying to not be a dick, which is something that he and I have in common as well. So we're hanging out, and, gets to be about 3 o'clock. They've called last call, and then, they're wrapping things up, and, we start hearing this noise. Because we're outside on a patio, all 9 of us or whatever. And, there's just this horrible, horrible noise that's happening. And we're looking around, and down the street comes a van or an SUV of some sort, shooting sparks out of the passenger side of it. It has completely lost its, passenger side front wheel.
Ooh.
And it is just driving down the street as if nothing wrong is happening.
At 3:30 in the morning.
At 3:30 in the morning, downtown Indianapolis. And we are watching it, waiting for it to crash into something. Because there are traffic lights up ahead, and a bus stop, and some construction areas. And also, there's a place called Fountain Square, which is just basically it's like a block in the middle of a block. Like this weird centerpiece of this, area.
Big fountain.
Not a fountain, but, just a building.
Yeah.
And, I mean, but there's like an extreme turn that needs to be made in order to maneuver around it. And this car without a wheel is just, fucking going down the road at like 60 miles an hour. And, when it gets to like the area where the bus stop was, we see it, tap its brakes.
That's good.
Yeah. It didn't stop or anything like that. And then it, started heading towards that building that's like right in the center. And then it makes the turn. And goes out of sight. Still shooting sparks. And, Mike is just like, hold on, there's gonna be a horrible noise coming soon. And we all just sit in silence. Nothing.
Huh.
It wasn't being chased by anybody, and I mean, we briefly saw the driver of this thing, just looking like nothing was wrong in the world.
Was it like a bad part of town?
No.
I thought maybe he didn't want to stop, and fix it, lost a tire.
No, not a terrible part of town, no.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, very hipsterish. Terrible to me. But, yeah, so that happened.
That's bizarre.
And, the Josh guy, decided that he was gonna go look for the tire down the street. And just, like, jumped over the railing and started walking down the sidewalk.
Never found it.
Never found it, as far as I know. Then we saw a stripper, walk across the street to, go to an apartment building. So then, last call happened, and then we all decided, well, we better get the hell out of here. Cause, some of us had, other states to drive to.
Yeah.
So I got a picture with Mike, there in the parking lot. And said goodbye to everybody. The comedian Matt Holt, talked to him. He's actually going to be in Dayton in November with Jimmy Pardo. So I told him I'd probably go check that out.
That's awesome.
He's a very nice guy. He's got a podcast. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of it.
Sure, you can Google it.
Yeah, his name is Matt Holt. Google that and podcast. And then I told Heidi it was nice to meet her, and then the dessert thing was very good, and she gave me a hug. And then I got into my car, and I saw a woman wearing a skin-tight leather outfit, very Christina Hendricksy.
Oh.
Red hair and all. Busty. Low-cut leather halter top thing with skin-tight leather pants. She had been at the bar, and she was apparently walking home in high heels and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mask.
Which one?
It was black, so it wasn't a specific one, but it was that headband type of mask. Wrapped up around her head and tied in the back.
Oh, okay, I think meant like one of those plastic Halloween masks.
No,
okay.
no,
like an actual
like a bandit mask.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty hot.
Yeah. God, yeah, it was. And then on top of that, we're all saying our goodbyes, and Mike is thanking everybody for hanging out with him and coming to the show, and this pregnant woman walks down the street, and she is followed by a shirtless dude with a cooler strapped to his back.
Oh, yeah. Probably like baby formula and whatnot.
Maybe, yeah, who knows.
Well, I guess not if she's pregnant. Baby formula yet. Wow.
And we're all just looking at it, and Mike's like, yep, that's happening.
That's awesome.
So then 3:30 in the morning, I'm getting into my car to head on back to Dayton. And get my GPS out and figure out where I need to go. Find 70 west or 70 east. And get on the highway, and I actually pass Mike and Heidi on the way back. And then I start driving, and about 4 o'clock, I realize that I'm very tired.
Yeah.
I am incredibly tired because I have been up for a while. I've had a busy evening.
A little bit of an adventure,
A
maybe.
little bit of an adventure, and then I also had a little bit to drink earlier in the evening. Not enough that I was drunk at that point, and I had something to eat, but,
Right.
now I'm just feeling the exhaustion of everything.
It's all setting in.
And, I'm still in Indiana. And, it's getting to me. My vision's getting blurry.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm beginning to kind of swerve on the road a little bit. So I stop at one of those giant mega trucker gas stations.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I got myself, a water and a slice of pizza and some trail mix. And I eat the pizza in the car and, I start heading on the road. I figure if I'm eating trail mix and drinking water, this will help keep me awake. It's still really hitting me. It's now I've got the window down and I got the music cranked up and it gets really bad. But then I make it to Richmond. I cross over the border into Indianapolis or into Ohio. It's becoming too much. And so, I find an exit and I pull off on it, and there's another one of those mega trucker gas stations. And there's also a budget motel right next to it. And I pull into the gas station a lot, and I'm seriously thinking about going to that motel and just sleeping for a few hours.
Wow.
And I sit in the parking lot and I even kind of doze for about 10 minutes. So then I decide that I wake up and I'm alright, go inside the shop, just look around for a while, maybe buy a snack or something else, maybe get another water, just to see if you can wake up a little bit, because at this point, I'm only 45 minutes away from home.
Right.
It's I don't really want to
Right.
stay at a motel when I'm less than an hour away from my house. So I do something else that I have not done in about 5 months or so. And I bought a cup of coffee.
Ooh.
And I put sugar in it. And also I didn't want to stay at the motel because in the time that I got there to the time where I went back to my car from getting the coffee, there were 20 dudes hanging outside of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at 5 in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I drink a little bit of the coffee and I kind of slap myself awake a little bit and hit back on the road. And the coffee really helped. And got back home at 6 in the morning.
Wow. Just crashed.
No. Because at this point I had some shit to bring in.
Right.
My GPS and my iPod, and I brought a book with me, just in case I had too much time to kill, and, I'd have something to read. And, waters, and my coffee, and a t-shirt, and
Right.
all this crap. And so I kind of settle in, and, I'm a little wired from the coffee and the drive at the same time, so I didn't get to bed till about 7.
Wow.
And, I crashed pretty hard, but then I still woke up at around noon. Oh, and on top of all this, my comics had come in.
Yeah.
So I got new comics when I came home.
Right. See? That's always good to come home to. A pile of comics. Wow. So you only slept 5 hours then yesterday?
Yeah.
That was yesterday, right?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, so Friday into Saturday. That's what I did.
That's awesome. That's cool that you had a good experience with Mike, because that's the worst whenever you finally meet someone who, you're like, I feel like no or whatever,
Right.
So that's awesome. That's
I
really
think it is different, I think with any other type of entertainer, like someone that you would idolize, like
a rock star.
like a rock star, let's say, like a Robert Pollard or something like that,
Right.
Someone who's probably accessible, who you've experienced mountains and mountains of his work,
Right.
but it's a different type of thing because it's songs and
It's not like they're talking to him. And,
right, yeah. And so with Mike, it's like, he's telling you about his life.
Yeah.
Every week for hours at a time for years. So, yeah, it is really more like you do know him.
Yeah.
So you already have an idea of what he's like. I mean, it's not exact, but it's close.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas, with a rock star or something, it could be anything. You don't know. Because, even on stage, when they're in a concert, if they're bantering or whatever, it's still a put on.
It's, entertainment. Right. Part of a show.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it was a pleasant experience. Like I said, I didn't talk much. I didn't really ask him a lot of questions or anything. And I don't know that I really had anything to say. I mean, there's a couple things I didn't want to know, but I never.
Right.
And then some things like I felt like I told him everything I needed to felt I needed to say. I mean, honestly, like the biggest thing that I want to know that I don't know is the fact that he's got a guy who does art for him every week. Like they put up like a painting every week.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. I don't know that I've seen him. But...
Right. And I'm just like, because he records the show like on Wednesdays, and then it goes up on Thursday. So that guy only has like a handful of hours to do a painting.
Oh, it's like based on what he talks about?
Right, yeah.
Unless maybe he cues him in early of what he's going to talk about.
He's done that occasionally, but sometimes, he'll call him sometimes even in the middle of the show or after the show to say, well, this is what we did.
Wow.
And that guy has to, it's like a full watercolor painting.
Wow.
Just like, that is awful.
Well, you've seen some, like Bob Ross could do an awesome watercolor in an hour.
Yeah.
It just depends on how good they are, I guess. But
and he's very good, and it's. I mean, they're all amazing paintings.
Yeah.
It's just like, I would, if I was that guy, if Matt Brassfield asked me every week to paint him something in a day, I would kill Matt Brassfield.
Like if you somehow agreed to it, that's why you would. Kill him. Right?
Yeah.
You're like, what did I do? Maybe, does he pay him quite well? I wonder.
I don't know that anybody gets paid.
Wow, that's impressive.
Podcasting.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of money to be made here.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, sorry to break it to you.
No, I've seen the checks that you write me that go into that account that I can't access, and they're huge numbers. I just can't wait till the day that I'm allowed to access it.
On your 65th birthday.
All that is mine.
So it was possibly one of the best times that I've had in recent years, definitely.
That's great.
And I'm so glad that I went, and I'm so glad that he invited me to hang out with him afterwards.
Right.
And I know that it's a thing that he does in every city and every show that he does, where he just wants to hang out with anybody. And I'm glad that I was able to do it, and I'm glad that I forced myself to do it, really.
Yeah.
Because I know me, and, I don't know if you had gone with me, or the other person that I invited who wanted nothing to do with this. I would have tried to convince you to hang out.
Right.
But you probably would have convinced me not to.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go, because I probably would have been like, I gotta work tomorrow, let's just go home. Yeah.
But, I'm glad that I did it. And, when I got home, I posted on Facebook that, I had, just an amazing time, throughout the night, and that, people would be able to listen to 2 different podcasts to hear it. You can hear it here, where I just told you the story. And on Thursday, you can download the new episode of The 40-Year-Old Boy, where Mike will tell his point of view of the story, in which I will have very little interaction whatsoever in it.
Oh, that's interesting.
But he will pretty much tell exactly what happened in Indianapolis.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Yeah. That's cool.
And I really recommend that people listen to that show. It may take a couple of episodes to get used to exactly what it is, but it's my favorite show that I listen to week after week. And I don't listen to any comic book podcasts or anything like that. I listen to mostly comedy podcasts.
Right.
And there are some really good ones I listen to, like Never Not Funny, Comedy Bang Bang. But there's just something about the 40-Year-Old Boy that I love more than those others.
Wow.
And I really hope that people check them out, based on this, which I don't know that they will or not. But,
If they somehow made it through the first segment of our show.
Right, yeah.
No, that is awesome. And I'm really glad that it turned out to be a positive experience.
Yeah, it was, I had an amazing time. I'm glad that I did it. And met some really nice people. And then, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go to Wiley's to check out, Matt Holt's, stand-up.
Sweet.
And, if he ever comes back to Indianapolis, I'm definitely gonna go again.
Well, that's cool. That's very cool.
Or anywhere closer, God forbid.
Right, yeah. Maybe not Dayton, though. Yeah,
Probably not
yeah.
Dayton, yeah.
That's awesome. 40-year-old boy.
The 40-Year-Old Boy, check it out.
Is he still 40? Because he's been calling
He's
the show
like
that.
45.
Yeah. So he's a liar.
I think his birthday is actually today as we record.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
The 45-year-old boy.
Yeah, yeah. Because Heidi actually gave him a birthday present while we were down there.
Sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. Yeah. So thanks for putting up with that story.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Like I said, sometimes I find him enjoyable, but
Right.
he's never really clicked with me. I would like to hear maybe that podcast if you
Right.
have access to that. That'd be kind of fun to
Totally will.
hear the other side, right?
Yeah, and you'll even get to hear that first hour of the show that I went to.
Oh yeah,
Because
he recorded that too.
No, he didn't record it, but he will repeat pretty much
Okay.
the exact same stories.
Huh. Okay.
Because that's what he does.
Yeah.
But I love it, and it's awesome. And yeah, this is all stuff I could have told you yesterday when we were hanging out, but I don't do much ever, so
You figured save it. Yeah, have a story to tell.
me doing something is kind of show worthy.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. I'm glad like I said, I'm really glad it turned out to be something cool and that you got to do something more than just, see the live performance.
Right.
That's awesome.
Which even if that was it, if I had just gone home at, midnight,
Right.
it still would have been worth it. Still would have
Yeah.
been worth the trip, but I'm glad that I got to hang out further and talk to the guy and hear the guy talk to other people, mostly,
Right.
and eat some,
And see a
shitty potato skins.
3-wheeled van and a Christina Hendricks Bandit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sweet. Well, yeah, anything else fun going on, or is that pretty much it?
It's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And,
The Olympics.
I haven't done that. My PS3 finally works again.
Right.
I'm excited about that. I don't know what happened, but it works. I don't care.
Suddenly is back in action.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a movie to pick.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
So I actually brought up this movie to you about a week ago, and I decided, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna pick it. Unless, of course, you've already seen it between the times that we talked about it. But it is called The Killer Elite, starring Jason Statham, Robert De Niro, and Clive Owen.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen it. Yeah, sweet. I'm down with this plan.
Alrighty.
The Killer Elite.
Yes.
I'll watch anything with De Niro in it. I'd even watch frickin' Bullwinkle or whatever. Was he in that?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet.
Even the Fokker movies.
I would watch. I saw Meet the Parents. That's the only one I've ever seen.
That's the only one I've seen. Yeah.
I mean,
It was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing I'd ever.
Much like The Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just entertainment.
I would watch De Niro in The Ray. He'd probably have to play the villain.
Probably,
I don't think he
yeah.
could play the Ray at this point.
So maybe The Ray could turn into Robert De Niro,
Oh,
since
yeah.
apparently that's one of his powers.
Yeah.
Besides being naked the entire time.
That's something we forgot to mention.
Yeah, that is.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The only superhero that is always naked. Well, other than like Silver Surfer, maybe.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Sasquatch.
Yeah. Puck. He's falling on hard times. He's just
Yeah.
naked all the time. Sweet. Killer Elite.
Killer Elite. Alright. Since I've bored everybody, let's say this is over.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night.
You can subscribe to Gutter Trash at iTunes or directly at guttertrash.net. If you go to iTunes, please leave us a review. You can email us at eric@guttertrash.net or jason@guttertrash.net. For more info, you can find us on Facebook, or you can go to seanborn.net or buyerbeware.guttertrash.net. Listen to our sister podcast, League Night, at league.guttertrash.net. Thank you for listening. Until next time.